Hey YouTube, Travis here today. Today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Sun and Moon, and this is going to be like really interesting. So if you're not someone who's ever beaten Sun and Moon, I would recommend kind of staying away from this video, at least not until the ending credits come up at least one time, or rather, you've seen them anyways. Okay, so anyways, this video is going to be to explain like what happens at the end of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and kind of explain like it sounds like a theory, but it would make sense at the same time though that this would happen, because it's pretty obvious that this would happen. But anyways, so in Pokemon Sun and Moon, if you beat the game, you find out like Lily goes to the Kanto region, and you know, okay, so when you beat Sun and Moon, it kind of gets a little confusing at first, not just based on the story, but like really how the game progresses. Like usually when you play a Pokemon game, you know, once you beat the game saves, sends you back to your hometown, and then you go to the Elite Four, and then it just cycles over and over again. However, Pokemon Sun and Moon actually does something differently. Well, I'm not sure if Gen 6 did the same thing, but as far as Pokemon, well, I'm not sure about X and Y, but I know Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire didn't really do this. But Pokemon Gen 7 did something sort of differently. Well, they did the same thing in Gen 5, where like if you beat the Elite Four, you know, then the game saves, the credits roll, and you can only see the credits like one time per playthrough, and then you enter what is known as the post-commentary game, where the main story is over with and all that, post-game. And now like everything, like all the side quests and all that happen at the end. So now what we have is, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, like, for example, you know, Lily goes to the Kanto region. You can find, I'm trying to think of his name, her brother, her and her mother go to the Kanto region after she's not possessed anymore with all this evil, you know, like all this evil entity from like the Ultra Beasts and all that. So, you know, they're going around, traveling around the world and getting to know each other more. And was it Gillian? What's his name? I'm trying to think. Gillian. You know, you can find him at the Aether Foundation in the garden, where he gives you Type Null and he stays there. So you can find so Gillian himself stays in the Alola region. And as for you, you know, you can go to the Elite Four and beat them as many times as you want. You can defend your title, so you're also in the Alola region. But as if like the game's already over with, and you can pretty much go back to like all the places you visit, even like where you caught Soul Galileo or Lunala, depending on what version you're playing. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can still do in the game. So like, you know, you can still go back to the region after the game ends and pretty much just run around and do whatever the hell you want and stuff like that. But the idea is that the Kanto region and the Alola region aren't really too far apart if you think about it. Like, for example, think of it like this. You know, Lily says that, you know, she'll see you again one day, but not like anytime soon though. But what's really interesting though is if you think about it, in the Pokemon universe, I mean, she takes a ship to go to the Kanto region, but like what's really interesting though is if the Alola region itself is supposed to be the Hoenn, or not the Hoenn, but the like the Bahamas, the Hawaii on Earth, because that's essentially what the game takes place in. You know, you could essentially say that, you know, if the Kanto region is supposed to be somewhere in Japan, because the Johto region's like right next to it, and I think the Sinnoh region's right next to it too, and so is the Hoenn. I forget exactly which regions or where, but as far as these two regions go, the Alola and the Kanto region, you could essentially say it wouldn't really take that long to get from the Kanto region to the Alola region. So if you were to think about it, it's possible that you could take a Pokemon such as Dragonite, for example, and you could fly from there to the Kanto region within maybe hours, you know, or maybe take a legendary Pokemon and teleport there, like a Lunala, for example, you could literally warp to the Kanto region, you know. So what I'm trying to say though is, if you think about it, like a lot of people, when they beat Pokemon Sun and Moon, they used to think that, oh, you know, like, you know, there's no, I mean, okay, maybe in the games you can't go to the Kanto region, but technically speaking, yet Game Freak like somehow was to make a sequel like Pokemon Sun and Moon 2. You know, it would make sense. I mean, they could do that. I mean, not just because of the game, but, you know, but I mean, as far as the story goes, I mean, like, the regions are within reach, and, you know, there's stuff they could definitely put in the games that could make the games better. You know, I mean, you think about it, you know, when Pokemon Black and White came out, You know, I mean, they were freaking good, but at the same time, though, they got sequels. And, well, I mean, you could say that Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green and was a sequel to, or is a prequel to Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the remix. But it's like, you know, it was really cool, though, because, you know, people didn't see that coming. And when they did, it was like, oh, that was pretty clever that they put those in the games, and nobody really, you know, it made sense, you know. So I wouldn't doubt maybe at some point, maybe Pokemon Sun and Moon gets a, because, you know, it's really interesting, especially amongst the fans. I mean, Sun and Moon's only been out for like, wow, already a month now. And, I mean, I beat the game on December, I think it was December 7th I beat the game, because I got the game for day one when it came out. But it's like, I gotta tell you though, you know, Pokemon Sun and Moon, you know, there's a reason why these games sell very, very much so. But the way I'm looking at it right now, I personally think that, you know, if all the stuff that I just said was true though, about like, you know, Lily's in the Kanto region, you know, everybody else is in the Aloha region, and it's within reach, if you think about it, the games can very well, you know, you can very well go there, and certain Pokemon allow that, because you can either fly there. I mean, hell, even the Charizard that you use to fly around could very well allow you to, you know, do that. But I don't know, it's really interesting what Game Freak will do when they release the, or better yet, maybe there's a patch at some point that will actually, like, maybe they'll make, like, more stuff in Pokemon Sun and Moon that we're not aware of yet. I mean, aside from just the National Dexter and the other Pokemon, the other 500 Pokemon that haven't been released yet, and the other 2 mythical Pokemon like Marshadow and whatever other one is behind that. But whatever the case is, Pokemon Sun and Moon, you know, if you haven't beaten it yet, or you haven't played it yet, I gotta say, man, you gotta play it. It's a fun game. If you're a Pokemon fan and you love these games, believe me, it's definitely something to check out. And what do you guys think about this whole, like, could they make a sequel, or, you know, the ending isn't really, like, when you think about it, it's not really a sad ending, you know. Yeah, it's like friends departing and not seeing each other, but it's not like, you know, in Sun and Moon that they couldn't keep in touch. I mean, like, maybe we didn't see in Sun and Moon that, you know, Lily and all them were, like, keeping, like, they could send emails back and forth. I mean, they had televisions, they had, so if you think about it, like, I mean, they could call each other if they were still in range, or they could just send, like, messages over, like, the internet. So, like, the way I think about it, you know, the ending to Pokemon Sun and Moon really isn't as sad as you think about it, because, like, you know, the games themselves could do that. You know, like, you could do that in the games. So, like, at the same time, though, you know, all the characters would very well still be alive, and, well, I mean, like, none of them really died, but, you know, it's not like like in their current situations, they were just separated. That doesn't mean that they could never see each other again. So, you know, that's what I wanted to make this video, kind of clarify this. You know, the ending to Sun and Moon isn't like, you know, you'll never see them again. It's just that, as of right now, we're just supposed to be like, you know, she's in the, it's kind of like if you played Alpha, Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. Like, when you fought, what was her name, like, after you beat her, you recruited Omega Rayquaza, you stopped Deoxys and all that, and then you caught Deoxys, or if you didn't beat it, you know, you would return back to Meteor Falls and find out that Zafari, or whatever her name was, went back to her tribe, and you didn't really know where her tribe was at, but she returned to it on the Lost Dragon tribe. So it was, like, really interesting to kind of read about that, you know. Maybe they'll expand the stories a little bit. Maybe, I mean, like, that I know of at least. I don't really know what happens next, but if you think about it, as far as the Pokemon games go, there's always more questions than we have answers, but at the same time, though, when you really dig into them, they can be logical conclusions, and it's always like a happy ending instead of like a bad ending, you know what I mean? Because it comes off like it seems like it's sad, but at the same time, though, you know, all the Pokemon trainers are still there, and it's not like they're never to be seen again, like in the game story. Like, they eventually end up coming back somehow, whether through cameos or, like, they're there still, you know what I mean? So, and that's how I think that's how we should think about Sun and Moon. You know, Lily's still there, it's a happy ending, and, you know, whatever, and you can pretty much do other things in Pokemon Sun and Moon that, like, once you beat the game, like, the game doesn't just directly end. The game kind of, like, ends on an ending where, like, once you beat the game, it's like, everything's back to normal, but that doesn't mean you have to stop exploring everything and all that.